The Lori and Rick relationship on The Walking Dead. The Lori debacle between fans is an interesting subject matter in The Walking Dead. Some fans are split between the idea that Lori was a bad wife and that her sleeping with Shane, which was Rick's best friend, was a disrespect to their whole marriage in general. And that even after finding out Rick was alive, she was still teasing the idea with her being with Shane. While some other fans believe that it was actually natural for her and Shane to bond together because they thought Rick was dead. I gotta say I'm stuck somewhere in the middle, but if I had to choose with a gun towards my head, I would pick the second option. Shane did step up while Rick was gone, and it would make sense why Lori and Carl would become more attached to Shane. Shane became their protector, so Lori became his lover. And I truly believed in the idea that their relationship was completely platonic while Rick and her were still married. Shane tries to force himself on Lori at the end of season 1. It is a very awkward exchange between the two. It also lets the audience know that Shane has maybe lost his mind and has become obsessed with Lori. And that he truly believes that Lori is his and Carl is his. As season 2 progresses, we see a very unstable Shane dealing with the fact that the woman he has been trying to commit to has been taken back by her old man and his best friend. He is also dealing with the fact that his best friend is not up to making the tough challenges and that he might be too afraid. As we are shown in the TV series, Shane is a hothead, so him dealing with the fact that the woman he's been taking care of is gone out of his hands is truly heartbreaking for the character. As the season progresses, he even starts to taunt Rick, basically saying that he doesn't think he can take care of his family. While this is all going on, Lori's and Rick's relationship is deteriorating. We see Rick kind of not knowing how to deal with the situation. He only wants to figure out how to protect his loved ones and family, and the people close to him. In his mind, he doesn't have time to discuss their relationship. They're literally zombies all around, and their child is still there. Of course, this, antagonizes Lori. Doesn't make her too happy and makes her feel that Rick is taking her for granted. And the fighting between the two gets worse. It's obvious that Lori still has resentments towards Rick in their previous marriage. Resentment has been building up before the zombie apocalypse. It seems like she just wished he can show emotion more, instead of always worrying about the mission. Also, it comes to find out that Lori is pregnant. So this causes more outrage with some audiences. They're not sure if this is Shane or Rick's baby. This causes more conflict in the character because now Rick has to question internally, is this his kid? Knowing that it could possibly be his best friend who, in his back of his mind, he feels like betrayed him, even though he understands why. While season 2 is progressing towards the end, it is kind of obvious between the audience engagement that they are starting to turn on Lori. Towards the end of season 2, after Rick takes out Shane, you would assume that his family would have his back. Unfortunately, this is the writer's fault. They make Lori come off as cold and unreasonable and not understanding towards him. She begins to look at him crazy while he does his Rick dictator speech towards end of season 2, basically stating that you people have turned to me and now you want me to be in charge, but now I'm in charge, so this is how we're gonna do things. That's when we see Lori making a face that she just saw one of the most craziest killings of all time. Her face is full of disgust and shock. She can't believe her husband has turned into this monster. But you could make the case that she might be one of the reasons. That is when season 3 starts to begin, and as we can tell that the relationship between Rick and Lori is still not there yet. They talk to each other, but it's only about Carl and the situation that's going around. She's basically like the first lady of the group. So they have to stand strong for the party, but deep down there is no love, it seems like. While this is going on, Rick is also losing his mind. He is hallucinating, seeing things, hearing things. He just looks completely out of it. But there is a scene, I believe it is season 3, episode 3, where we get a little sense that Rick is still in love with his wife and that he still cares for her. At the end of that episode, Rick and Lori are talking, and basically Lori, suggests that I wish we were talking about us. But of course, Rick's only talking about business. He congratulates her, tells her thank you for stepping up, even puts his hand on her shoulder to suggest that just give me some time, but right now we working on it. Watching Lori be so shocked that he's finally touched her and who knows how long was a very good acting. Matter of fact, great acting. She even sniffs her shoulder to get that last scent of him, almost as if she hasn't smelled this man in a long time. I'm pretty sure they smell like ass because, they're out in the wild. Eventually, we all knows what happens. She ends up getting bit by a walker, and Carl has to kill his mother to save his little sister. Watching Rick's reaction to the news, finding out that Lori is dead, is probably one of the most saddest scenes in Walking Dead history. The writing in that episode and the writing in season 3 in general around Lori's character was really excellent and top-notch. I truly believe she went out with a bang. Even though the actress did a great job, this is probably the best way to end her character. If she was to stick around even longer, I feel like the audiences and the fans would still not appreciate her that much. Having Lori around and Rick try to fix a relationship would come off as too much CW-ish, if you catch my drift. Like Felicity and Oliver type shit. Fans hated Andrea, and she didn't even do any cheating. So how do you think they would still react to a woman who, even though technically didn't cheat, but she kind of did? Also, her sacrifice to give up Judith makes her look better in the end. Watching Rick try to raise Judith and watching the whole community raise Judith also made the characters and Rick more stronger, in my opinion. Maggie watching Rick go dad mode, I'm pretty sure allowed her pregnancy to go a little bit better, knowing that if he can do it, so can I. So I think this was a great stopping point for the character Lori. Even though it would have been very interesting to see her exist all the way up to season 5 and season 6. I think this was great for the character to end off on, and kudos for the writers and directors for having the balls to actually kill her off. So on that note, there was no other way to kill off Lori. So this is The Rambler, and I will see you next video.